it's Natalie, and welcome back to the Passion Project podcast, where we talk with individuals who are pursuing their passions, and we want to encourage you to do the same. Today, we have our guest, Gail Nogle, on the podcast. She's been a professional photographer in Dallas for over 46 years, traveling all over the world, photographing different cultures and people. I'm so excited to have you on today's show. Thank you for being here.
Oh, happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Okay, so I want to ask you the question I ask everyone on the podcast. What is your passion?
My passion is photographing. And my favorite subject to photograph is children. Probably one of the hardest subjects to photograph, but I'm really good at it.
Okay.
But I just like people in general. People and cultures, that's really what I do when I travel around the world.
People, you can connect to them through photography, and it sounds like that's what you've done with your passion.
I have.
Yeah, so I want to hear a little bit more of how did you start your journey into photography? What sparked your interest in it? And, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I happened to bring my very first camera. I got this camera when I was 8 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
And I got it, Santa brought it to me for Christmas.
Aww.
That's the last time he brought me a camera, though. Anyway, I went to camp in the summertime, and I brought this, and I photographed everybody and everything. That's what started it. But what made it even more in-depth was when I photographed, or when I babysat for this family who the father was an architect.
Okay.
And he had a darkroom downstairs in the cellar. He had everything. And he taught me how to develop my prints, my film, develop prints, everything. And so that's how I started learning a lot.
That's so cool. Well, a lot of people fall into their passions because they try something new, or just kind of like you were saying, it just happens. For instance, what's the quote about teach a fisherman how to fish, and you know how it goes.
He'll be hungry for the rest. Right. He won't be hungry for the rest of his life.
Right, but teach him how to photograph. Santa gave you the gift of photography, it seems. And you kind of happened into that. And then it sounds like people poured into you, and that's kind of what developed your interest into photography. Was the guy that had the dark room?
Oh, yes, because he was an architect, and we would go out. When he designed a building and it was built, we would go out and we would film the building that he did, and then we'd come back, develop the film, print the prints, whatever he needed.
Yeah.
But and I had to use a 4x5 camera. That's different than these cameras today. But I learned a lot.
Well, what would you say has been your favorite part about photography?
Oh, photographing people. Yeah.
So when did you find that passion for people in the midst of being a photographer?
I found it my whole life. I was like this my whole life. I feel like that I bring joy to people when I photograph them, or even just talk to them. Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
I talk to people like I already know them. I've never met them, but it doesn't matter. I just get in there and I start talking like I know them. They just have to go along with it.
Yeah. Well, photography is also a good way to kind of just
break the ice.
Break the ice, exactly. I've noticed that because you used to photograph me when I was younger, and something I wanted to talk about, because I'm known in my friend group as the girl that can find the good lighting. And you taught me that when you were photographing me, because we were looking for places to find a good spot to photograph. And I said, what about over here? And you said, no, that's not where the good lighting is. And then you redirected me to over by a window. So now I'm here to say I have a passion for selfies and finding the good lighting in selfies. I'm known as the girl that always finds the good lighting, and people are glad about that. So thank you for igniting that passion in me.
I'm so happy that you have that passion. You can use it for the rest of your life.
So you have a lot of props here on this table. Tell me a little bit about maybe one of them or all of them. I want to know.
Well, in my studio, which I closed in 2018, I had 350 hats.
Oh my gosh.
And I would let people, after the sitting, I would say, here, everybody pick out a hat and put it on. Now, some people would say, oh yeah, and other people go, oh. But anyway, it didn't matter. I kind of coerced them. I said, everybody else has got a hat, you got to put one on. But one time I did a lot of pro bono work in my years of starting out and even finishing. And people would say, would you photograph 6 groups of 6? They're going to be in the auction and we need a picture. I go, sure, bring them in. I'll photograph anybody you've got. Anyway, they brought them in, and there were 6 groups. So the first group that I photographed, I finished, and I said, hey, let's do one fun thing. Let's everybody pick out a hat. And they went, oh, no, we're not wearing hats. We're not going to do that. And I said, okay, you're out of here. anyway, then the next group came in. I said, how about putting on a hat after we were done? They said, yeah, great idea. They all did. On and on until you get to number 6, and they all did it. Well, come to find out, the first group who did not put the hat on were mad because they used the picture in the auction booklet with all the people with the hats on.
That's funny. So they like that. They like the
Yeah.
hats.
But not the people that didn't have the hats on. They didn't like it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like that kind of sparked a lot of creativity. And just by working with you when I was younger in your studio, you would just throw some fun props at us and we would just do whatever. And that made the best photographs because you had such a passion for having fun while also doing photography and connecting with us as we were being photographed. So I want to ask you, how do you stay inspired in photography, and how do you continue to always be creative when you've done photography for so long?
Well, it's easy because everybody's different. Everybody's new. Everybody has stuff to offer. And I encourage people, I always encourage people to bring in fresh flowers. I used to buy them, but that gets costly after years and years of that. So I encourage them to bring them in.
Yeah.
And so, because I didn't know what the kids were going to be wearing or the family was going to be wearing. But so I'm just inspired by going to see museums, going to lectures. I still go to photography lectures, and I encourage anybody that's interested in photography, find out where you can go find lectures, either art or photography or anything. It doesn't have to be what you think you want to learn, because you may learn something different with somebody that's talking about musical instruments, for instance. You might find an instrument you want to play, I don't know.
Yeah.
But be open. The whole thing is to be open.
Well, it sounds like learning is something that's also kept you passionate in your craft. And I've noticed that in different things that I've done. The more I learn about something, the more interested I become, and then the more passionate I become about it. And that could be in anything. What advice would you say to someone that may not be the best photographer, but they love photographing, they want to do more of it? What would you say to them if they're wanting to just find out more?
Well, go out and photograph every day. Photograph something. Photograph your family. You know, I've got a lot of old pictures of my family because I've been doing this for a long time, and it's wonderful to look back on my family photos, because we didn't ever get family photos done in a studio. It was mostly what I took.
I want to know what's been one of the most gratifying things about being a photographer and having this passion for so long. Can you recount a certain instance or moment where you found that photography really got you through your day or got you through your year, or was able to be there as a passion for you that kept you going in times of hardship or challenges? Because in life, everybody goes through challenges, hardships, and I've found that having a passion keeps me going. So I wanted to know if there was anything that sticks out to you in that way.
Well, I do a lot of projects, self-projects, and so that's what keeps me going, because I set something up. If I see somebody, I ask them, can I please photograph you? And it's either yes or no. And the other thing is, don't be afraid to talk to people. Most people they haven't exercised that muscle. Just ask, and people will say, yeah, sure, you can photograph me, whatever. But what I used to do, or still do, is I would take their photograph and then I would send them copies, because I think most of the time photographers forget that part. They just take them, and it's like taking all the time, but it's not giving back to the people that let you photograph them. So if I saw something interesting, I always said to people, may I photograph it? Well, there was a saddle maker that I wanted to photograph. I waited too long. He died. And I didn't get a chance to photograph him. So if you see something, just ask if you can take pictures and try it. You never know what you're going to find. Because when you go to their place of business or their place of work, they have, like coming to this home here, there's all kinds of things that are exciting and new and stuff that I've never seen before. So it's like, just keep in touch with people and don't be afraid to talk to them. Again, I talk to people like I already know them.
Yeah.
Whether I'm in the grocery store, whether I'm on the street, it doesn't matter. Most people are afraid to talk. They're afraid to ask questions. They're just afraid to engage. They're afraid they're going to say something wrong. Don't worry about that. Just get in there and talk to people.
Yeah.
And that's where my passion is being able to talk to people.
Well, having a passion like photography or whatever it is, it's a barrier to break open a conversation and to connect in some sort of way. I always encourage people to give back with their passions, and hearing you talk about giving the photographs to the people that you photograph is something that's really cool, because I know when I receive a great photograph, it makes me smile, or seeing a moment that was captured that I may not have known was captured is so exciting to see. And I really encourage people to take their passion and see what they can do for others with that passion. And
that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Has there been any other instances of you giving a photograph to someone that's maybe really impacted them, or that you feel has made changes in their lives?
There's probably hundreds of them. I don't know if I can think of all of them now, but
Yeah.
I do know one thing I did. I was photographing flowers in the springtime about 10 years ago, and I would go to people's homes in my neighborhood, knock on the door and say, "Hi, I'm Gail, and you don't know me from a bar of soap. That's my van out there, and I'm wondering if I could come back and photograph your garden when the lighting is good." The lighting has got to be good, or it's not going to be good.
Always.
So they said, sure, and they didn't mind and everything. So I would come back. I didn't bother them. I didn't knock on the door. I just came, photographed, and left. Probably about a month later, I would come back with the photographs on cards, which were beautiful. Now, their flowers are long gone, and so when I handed them to them, some of them, people would cry.
Wow.
Because I kept my word.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important, is to keep your word with people. And
Yeah.
but other passions are food. I love food. I don't know. Let me think what else I've got for. Oh, my grandkids. What a
Yeah.
passion for them. That is that is one of the greatest joys of my life.
How have these passions in your life enriched your life?
Well, it's given me a chance to meet people and to be sassy with them. That's really what it is. To have fun with my grandkids. I say things off the wall they never would hear from anybody else. Not off color, but just crazy stuff. And they laugh and with glee. You know,
Yeah.
especially my granddaughter. But no, the best thing in life is these grandkids.
Oh, yeah. Well, passion is contagious in whatever you do. And I'm sure that they can see that in you as being their grandma, and like you were saying, laughing. And that's what I think passion is all about, is having fun, having something to be excited for in life, something to look forward to. It has fueled me in all the seasons of my life, and I can see that it's fueled you, and it's fueled your photography and the moments that you've been able to make with people because of your art. Mm-hmm. And that's so amazing. I think that's why passion really is so important for everyone to have.
Find something that you are intensely interested in. That's what passion is for me, because it can be anything. It doesn't matter what it is, and you may only be interested for a little while, and maybe a lifelong
search
that you love, like for me. But I don't know. I think it's best if you just. I think that I bring joy to people when I'm photographing them.
Yeah.
I'm happy, they're happy, and I just do things for fun. Unexpected is probably a good word for me, because I tell them to expect the unexpected. And
you get a great photograph out of it.
and great expressions.
Yeah.
And then when they see the final photographs of themselves, they're kind of amazed. How did you get this? How did you do that? Well, a lot of it's practice. A lot of it is experience now after 46 years.
Yeah.
But it was just always fun for me. Not always. Wait, I take that back. It was not always fun, because sometimes I'd be nervous. I've got a group of 20 people, and the mothers, they're all nervous. And I got to photograph these people. The mother says to me, "Make us look natural. Make us look natural." And I said, "Do you have a margarita machine?" That's a hard job to do, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on with the 20 people. It's what I can do to bring out who they are, and that's my job. I was photographing one time with these people that were photographing children for a catalog. 2 of the kids just didn't cooperate, didn't do this, didn't do that. And I thought to myself, it's not the child's problem. Children are nervous just like adults are.
Yeah.
They have the same kind of emotions, and I said, you've got to get that out of them. You've got to get past that. I don't care what you do. If you have to stand on your head, do that. It doesn't matter. But it's your job as the photographer, Sumner, to get good expressions on whoever you're photographing. It's your job.
Right. Exactly.
So.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me today and talking about your passion of photography, all the passions that you have in life, how it's fueled you in all seasons of your life, and how you've been able to give back to the people that you photograph through your passion. It's really amazing to see, and I've seen it firsthand in my life just by being one of your models in some of your photo shoots.
In lots of my photo shoots.
Yes.
I'm surprised you let us photograph you so much.
I wore this hat in one of the photos. I had to bring it out.
Oh, beautiful. That's it.
I'll end
That's
the
great.
podcast wearing this hat. But thank you so much, Gail, for being on today's Passion Project podcast.
Well, you're so welcome, and thank you for having me. I enjoyed this. This was great.
Thank you.